Northern Italy is a land of passion, imagination, and extraordinary style. It is a place where remarkable hand craftsmanship is used to create some of the most unique and exclusive motorcycles in the world. Bimota, a very rare brand of motorcycle, has always been cutting edge when it comes to design.
Revolutionary is a good word. Always leading edge, always avant-garde, always taking risk.
Alpinestars, another Italian company, makes a high-end version of Italian leather goods. Except these leathers aren't fashion statements, but clothing to keep motorcycle riders and racers as safe as possible.
It's a combination of old-world hand-done craftsmanship with leading-edge science backed by years of research into what hurts us when we crash.
Here we have a very scientific way of understanding exactly how the leather performs should a rider slide down the road.
Both Bimota and Alpinestars rely on classic Italian hand craftsmanship. One is like the Lamborghini of the two-wheeled world. The other, like the Versace of the racetracks. High-end Italian luxury at a premium price. What do you get for your money? Something unique, something different, and something very, very Italian. Most visitors to Rimini, Italy, go for fun in the sun. But there is another reason to visit Rimini, because it is the home of Bimota, one of the most exclusive motorcycle brands in the world.
Bimota has come up with some ideas that make motorcycles into art, and it's not really available anywhere else.
Centuries ago, Rimini was an important outpost of the Roman Empire. Today, it is one of the most famous seaside resorts along Italy's Adriatic Riviera. It is a beach lover's paradise, and it gets warm in the summer. That's the reason Bimota originally started as a heating and air conditioning company.
Bimota actually started with three gentlemen, Mr. Bianchi, Mr. Mori, Mr. Tamburini, each of whom donated two of their letters from their last name into forming Bimota in the heating and air conditioning business. And they were doing sheet metal ducting and building tubing and those kinds of things. And it turns out that Mr. Tamburini was a motorcycle nut.
Mr. Tamburini was Massimo Tamburini, a man who would become one of the greatest motorcycle designers of all time. And if he hadn't crashed while racing a Honda in 1972, Bimota might still be installing heaters and air conditioners. While recovering from 3 broken ribs, Tamburini got the idea to use what he knew about metal pipes to build a new frame for his motorcycle.
Mr. Tamburini built a frame for his Honda single cam 750, took it to the racetrack, and when he was running around the racetrack, he started getting noticed.
The frame Tamburini built for himself lowered the weight and center of gravity of his Honda. It also lowered his lap times around the track.
It was an extremely fast bike, and shortly thereafter he started having people come up to him and say, "Would you make a frame for my bike?"
Massimo Tamburini realized he could make money selling other people his frames. In 1973, he changed his heating and air conditioning company into a tiny motorcycle factory. He called the first design HB1, H for Honda, B for Bimota, and 1 because it was the first motorcycle Bimota had ever built.
When you think about the history of Bimota, you kind of think about eras. And the eras are more or less defined by the chief engineers of the time, or the chief designers. Obviously, Massimo Tamburini was the first one. The benchmark there would have to be the HB1, which was the first bike he built. They only built 10 of them.
The fact that Bimota only built 10 HB1s began a tradition of exclusivity for the company. Every Bimota model has always been a limited production run. That's one reason Bimota has always been on the cutting edge of high-end Italian motorcycle design.
One of the reasons why Bimota has had so many leading breakthrough designs and things that became the standard of the industry 10 years later is because they only build 100 units of every model they do.
As a really small motorcycle company, Bimota couldn't afford to design and build its own engines. So until 1978, Tamburini sold kits that would allow people to build their own Bimota using a donor bike for the motor.
They didn't offer bikes originally. They offered frame kits where you would buy a complete Japanese motorcycle, you'd take the engine out, you'd take the wiring harness off, you'd take some of the controls off, you'd take the instruments off, you build it into this kit you bought from him, and now you had a GP replica bike.
They had the correct idea, in my opinion, is to buy existing engines and stick them in the chassis that we would all make if we could make a cool chassis and make all the cool parts.
During the 1970s and 80s, Bimota built bikes powered by Suzuki, Yamaha, and Honda engines. They were very successful on the racetrack, but ironically, it's difficult to be precise about just how many races Bimota won.
Bimota has a great racing history. It's a little muddy sometimes because no one kept good records in those days.
Who sponsored the bike was also part of the reason Bimota's racing records are confusing. A racer named John Eckerle won Bimota's first world championship in 1980.
John Eckerle was the first one that finally won a world championship on a Bimota. And the reason he won on a Bimota was because he tried to get sponsorship from Yamaha, and Yamaha wouldn't give him sponsorship. So he went out and he bought the engines. Bimota gave him sponsorship, so now he was actually riding a Bimota, and in 1980 he won the world championship in the GP 350 class.
Bimota's history has always been linked to its head designer. In 1983, Massimo Tamburini was hired away to work at one of the largest motorcycle companies in Italy. Tamburini's replacement was a young engineer named Federico Martini. He wasted no time putting his creative mark on Bimota. For the first time, new Bimotas were being built with a unique aluminum frame.
He did two very significant bikes. The first one he did was the YB4. The YB4 is the first bike that was in production that had a perimeter aluminum frame around it.
The new frame design proved its worth on the racetrack. In 1987, a YB4 won Bimota's second world championship. Over the years, the owners and chief engineers of Bimota have kept changing, but the essence of what a Bimota should be remained constant. Limited production of cutting-edge design, all hand-built with remarkable craftsmanship.
It's almost as if it's the same guy doing this. It's not. Change of ownership, new engineers. Who knows how many people are still there from 30 years ago, but it's the same idea behind it. Let's build stuff super, super trick. Let's make it work really, really well. Let's price it way up high and create an artwork piece of motorcycle that goes down the road really well.